Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Salem. And our question tonight comes to us from Red Dragon. And Red Dragon asks how we can tell the difference in our spiritual development between a legitimate experience and our imagination. And Red Dragon actually asked this question specifically in relationship to pathworking, to working with specific deities and spirits. But I want to answer the question in a broader sense, because I think that people often have this worry when they're doing spiritual work. And the answer to it is not entirely comforting, because the truth of the matter is the only way to tell the difference between a legitimate experience and imagination is through experience. When you do this kind of work, you will come to recognize the physical sensations that go along with an actual experience versus an imagination. When you first start the work, it can be very hard to tell the difference, but the more of it you do, the clearer it becomes, because they really do feel very different once you get used to them. The second aspect in which we learn this difference through experience is through results. Because whether we're talking about working with spirits or with magic, for example, they both should produce certain results. And when you see the results, then you know it's not your imagination. When you're speaking with spirits and they tell you things that you did not know, and you see these things playing out in the world around you. When you work with magic and you see the results of your magic manifest in the world around you, then you know it's not imagination. And that also can help you to tell the difference in physical sensation between a legitimate experience and imagination, because it can, again, when you're first beginning, be very hard to tell the difference. But once you come into it, there is actually a very strong difference, but it's very hard to put into words, because they're sensations that most people are not really familiar with. When you bring through spirit messages, people will feel them in different ways, but there is very much a set of physical sensations. I usually feel it through the crown chakra and through the top of my head. Some people will feel it more through their throat. Some people, I'm sure, have other sensations as well. When you work magic, in my experience, you can often very much feel the actual shift that occurs when you do this in a physical sense. Not in the sense that you feel something with your flesh or your skin, but you still have a very physical sensation that you get. And my experience of this is that the more that you do, the easier it is to recognize this difference between an actual experience versus imagination. And what I would say is that until you come to the point that you can tell the difference, you really kind of have to do what you've been taught to do and have faith in it and give it the chance to actually work rather than second guessing it. Because what I was always taught and what I find to be true is that when you second guess these things, you stop them. If you're bringing through a spirit message and you stop and try to analyze it in the middle, for example, you will stop the message. You won't get the rest of it. You have to suspend your judgment until you're done with what it is that you're doing. Then you can go back and analyze it. Then you can go back and pick it apart all you want, but not while you're doing it. So I hope that this perhaps helps to answer your question. And again, my answer is that you can tell the difference basically through experience when you've done it for a while. But when you're first starting, you just kind of have to suspend that question long enough to have the experiences that will show you the difference. And so, there you go, that's my answer, and until next time, may you blessed be.